Hi everyone. So the first activity that I would use to warm up before this video would be a mingling activity where I give learners a list of maybe 5 different environmental issues, and then I'd ask them to rank them in importance. So which one do they think is most important to least important? And then after they've made their list, I'd ask them to get up and mingle and find at least 3 classmates to talk with and discuss, sort of share and compare their list, see what's similar and what's different, and maybe talk about why they chose their first one as number 1. And I would start with this activity because not only is it a good way for learners to start thinking about the topic and also maybe using some of the language that they might encounter or hear in the video, but it's also just a nice way to get them up and moving around the room to start class. So that would be my warm-up activity. And then after that, I would briefly introduce or review some of the vocabulary from the video that I think might be new or challenging. So there were words like ozone layer, aerosol. So these types of words, maybe I could just use pictures to show, and then that would be a nice way to overview some of the new vocab. And then after that, moving into the during listening phase. Since this video is quite long, it's almost 10 minutes long, we'd probably only get to listen to it once or watch it once. So my main goal for my students for this video would be to listen for main ideas and also to take notes while they're listening, because next year all of my students will be going to American universities and they will be listening to a lot of lectures. So it's really important that they can listen for main idea and also take notes while they're listening. So in order to scaffold this, I think I would create some sort of graphic organizer that students can use and follow along with as they're taking notes. And I would go through the graphic organizer before we watched the video just to make sure that students understood how they were supposed to use it and they understood all the language that was on it. And then after we watched the video, I would give students maybe a minute or 2 to finish taking their notes. And then I would ask them to work in pairs to compare their notes with each other, compare their graphic organizer. And this would give them a chance to check their answers and to confirm whether or not they heard something correctly. And it would also be a chance for them to ask me questions as well. And then after that, for my post-listening activity, I think I would have students work together in small groups to have a short discussion about the video. And I would give them probably a list of a few questions, and I would ask them to talk about some of their own feelings and opinions toward climate change and toward the method that they saw used in the video. And this would give them another really good chance to relate the topic back to their own life and their own experiences. And during this discussion, I would probably give my students some of those sentence frames that Betsy posted in this module, because I'm finding that discussions are still something that my learners are struggling with a little bit, because a lot of them are a bit more reserved, and I think they're not totally sure how to frame discussions in English yet. So I find those sentence frames really useful for my students. And then one other activity that I think might be kind of fun or interesting that could be connected to this video is to get those small groups to then choose another environmental issue that they think is really important and create a poster of some of the solutions that they've come up with for that. So they could spend some time brainstorming some solutions that might work either at our school or in the community for helping with that particular issue, and then they could present it to the class. So that is how I would use this video in my lesson.